What's up, Vibe Coders? How's everybody doing today? Man, vibe coding took the internet by storm recently. I mean, it's been around for a long time, but I think people are starting to realize how easy it is for them to vibe code or create their own software. And today I want to talk about my journey of discovering this not even a year ago and how I got started, a lot of the mistakes I made. They can be very expensive mistakes. All right, some of you guys probably know as well. And one of them was just token usage, right? So if you're using tools like Lovable, Replit, Claude, whatever it is, we're going to be talking about OverSkill today. It's going to be a big one. I think it's going to be the biggest. And how much credits it burns through when you're trying to build an app from scratch. Because yes, you can open up one of these tools and say, I want an app like Airbnb. And that's all you got to say, and it will go start creating it, right? It's pretty impressive. But without a game plan, without structure, without the jar method I'm going to share with you guys today, it could get very messy. And that means you have to go back and clean up a lot of stuff. We call it spaghetti code. Things that are built multiple times that aren't communicating, they're not synced. And yeah, it burns through your credits and it burns through your precious sleep, right? My vibe coders know what I'm talking about. How many all-nighters, late-nighters have you spent vibe coding? Um, but anyway, I want to talk about the things I've learned in over 1,000 hours of vibe coding, a lot of tokens spent, and how to save your precious dollars from the token monster. Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to get right into a presentation. What I would love for you guys is in the pinned post, not only to share what you guys are vibe coding, what you're working on, but also coming up with your ideas. What are you working on now? Share your knowledge. There's people in this room that know way more about vibe coding than I do. If you're watching the recording, we want your advice. So whether you're live or the replay, use the pin post to share your knowledge about vibe coding. I am not a know-it-all. So if I say something, you're like, no, that's not right. I want to be corrected. I want to know the truth. Comment it inside of the comments. Because yes, I got 1,000 hours, but there's people that have probably 10,000 hours under their belt. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. And again, if you guys know this stuff, be a helpful community member, help those people out, answer their questions. I would love to know your biggest takeaways from today. This is going to be a huge topic, mostly because what we're talking about today is OverSkill. It's a brand new tool. I've been starting to use it. It's pretty new. I had beta access, but it's going to be, I think, one of the best from what I've seen because I've used a lot of these tools. Um, and I'll just share this with you guys. Behind the scenes, I've talked to the team over at Prime Mover and ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson, Todd Dickerson, and their team. This is like their number one priority moving forward. Like, I want to say more than ClickFunnels, but it's going to be more a priority than ClickFunnels. So imagine how big ClickFunnels was back in, I don't know, 2015 to 2018, 2019, when it really started to take off. I believe my success back then was due to timing. I literally just learned the tool and started teaching people the tool of ClickFunnels. I think we all have the opportunity right now with OverSkill. If you're not sure what that is, we're going to go into it today. I'll show you guys how to get access because right now it's invite only. So you guys being here, you're going to get an invite at the end, or you could just scroll up to the top of this pinned post. And obviously, you're already here. You registered for here. This skip that one, but go to step one and sign up to the OverSkill Games. We're going to talk about that later. It starts tomorrow and sign up to your OverSkill software to create your account. Now, the reason this came up is because people are going to be playing these OverSkill games tomorrow. They're giving away $10,000 cash prize to the winning app. Now, there's going to be a lot of people in here. It's anybody's game right now, but I figured I'll share everything I know about what they're looking for to choose a winner, and the people that don't know what I'm about to share with you are gonna get smoked. They're gonna be figuring out how to build step one and pulling all-nighters. You guys are gonna get everything and probably be able to get plenty of sleep tomorrow. So if you want to pull an all-nighter working on this stuff, you can. If you want to burn through tokens, you can. You won't have to do that once you guys understand what I'm gonna share with you guys today. All right, everybody know the rules? All in the pin post in the community. And yeah, questions, advice, all the things. Let's get into today's presentation. And if you guys want, stick around to the end. I'll show you guys. This is just a side thing. How I created this presentation. Literally woke up, had breakfast, was talking about this thing tomorrow. Me and my wife are going to team up tomorrow on a app build for the OverSkill Games. We're going to do something unrelated to business, actually. So I think it'll be really fun for us. It's something that we want. It's something we've been looking for. We have other apps and softwares that do this, but not what we're looking for. That's the beautiful thing these days. We can replace software that we're paying a lot of money for, and you could just build your own, and you could build it for yourself. And if you decide that, hey, I love this, other people might love this, maybe you start selling it. Maybe you use it as a bonus or a lead magnet to start generating leads and sales for your own offers. But anyway, today's called the JAR method, and I'll explain how that name came to be and what it actually means. We're going to show you how to vibe code your own simple software and save yourself from all-nighters and insane credit costs. You guys down with that? You want to save your credit, save your sleep? You guys have the chat. If you guys, again, watch the replay, if you're watching this somewhere else other than my community, join the community. You'll see the pin post. If you're watching this video in the community, it's right below. So open it up on one tab and just act as if it's live. So right now, if you're watching the recording and you haven't commented yet, let me know. What are you currently working on? Are you vibe coding something? What tools are you using or have you used to do that? And if you haven't, just say, not yet, but today's the day. Yeah, drop your guys' answer in the comments. Viber, just Viber if you are already vibe coding, and just say not yet if you haven't. If you guys want to share your projects, feel free. I know some people keep those things close to their heart because, you know, they don't want to give up their secrets and all that fun stuff. Today, I'm going to share the playbook with you. I'm basically going to present this to you. I created this all into one simple playbook as a reference guide, especially if you guys are going to be partaking tomorrow in Russell Brunson's OverSkill Games. And Todd, of course, it's probably more Todd than Russell, but you know, they're teamed up on this. So I'll give you guys the playbook as a little cheat sheet for tomorrow to help you move faster. Who here recognizes the industry that we're in? Selling online has shifted. Just put shifted in the comments. It's crazy. It is crazy. I mean, you know, what used to be more valuable in your lead magnets, your offers that you're selling is just more stuff that helps people get results. That usually looks like more videos, more calls on the calendar, more access to you. And now that's all being replaced by turning your frameworks into a software. And, you know, being a part of Russell's world, this is what he's been talking about for over a year now. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of them announcing this tool. Now your lead magnets become AI tools that solve the problem. Courses and curriculums, software that implements them for your customers and clients. And then calls on the calendar, they could get results without waiting for your support. You could even build AI apps that have all of your knowledge in them, like your AI brain. And now your customers for fulfillment can speak to you 24/7, 365 without waiting for answers. That's the era we're in. And it's okay if you haven't started to turn your, I don't want to say outdated, but I feel like it is outdated, your older offers and into AI enhanced offers that get your customers and clients results. So you can definitely build something that's not related to business, but obviously we're here because you guys like to make money, right? And you want to help people get faster results. That's what this is all about. Um, so by the end of the training today, you get my complete 5-phase system for building real software with zero code knowledge. I know nothing about coding, even after 1,000+ hours of vibe coding. I mean, I've learned a little bit, but I haven't wrote one line of code. Number 2 is the exact process behind my challenge app. So I turned my workbook for my 5-day challenges into an application. So a lot of you guys are familiar with that. How I turned my mastermind and my coaching program into a software called Event Stack AI, and how that process came to be. So now people could build their free trainings, their webinars, their 5-day challenges, their multiple-day virtual events with a few clicks of a button. Everything from, you know, the outline to the emails to the promotion, the ads, even their slide decks complete in record time. So my whole program was help people run 5-day challenges and webinars more quickly. That used to be a slow process. It would take someone a month to build something out. Now it can be done in a day. That's the power we're talking about by enhancing your offers with AI. KPIs is something I personally use. Some of you guys were asking, can we get that? It's not something I've put out because like I built it because I couldn't find a dashboard for my business that made sense, like a software out there or way to log numbers. And the reality is now like anyone could do this and plug into AI and it could pull all your numbers in and create custom dashboards. So that's another thing about creating software is like y- adding your own frameworks to it is very important because anybody can find a software and tell these tools, say, hey, make a software just like ClickFunnels. Obviously they're going to be, that's more robust and stuff like that, but there's some simple ones that people can just take screenshots of and say, hey, create this for me. Number three is the jar method. This is probably the most important part to helping you create apps that work. Because if you're going to give something out to your audience or sell it, you want it to work. And I think this is, at least for me, a big fear. And that's why it took me 8 months to get Event Stack out because I kept finding bugs. And even now we still have them, but it's a working product. And I probably should have released it way sooner, but I'm picky. And a lot of it was caused by the spaghetti code it was writing, where things aren't syncing and there's a lot of errors in the functionality of it. And I'll show you guys what I've learned along the way to reduce or eliminate that completely. And number four is a plan to build your own app if you're joining us in the OverSkill Games. By the way, who already knows they're in the games, OverSkill Games? And if you guys haven't, before we even get into it, in the pin post, again, just if you haven't signed up, I'm obviously going to have some bonuses for you guys if you use my link. It's completely free to join. So just click here. These start tomorrow. If you can't be there live, it's going 24 hours. So you could pop in and I'll basically give it to you guys today and basically what to expect. So even if you're not there live, you could still do this. And then the second thing I'll drop in the chat is this is the tool that you're basically just going to type into here and build your app. Most people tomorrow during these games are just going to start talking to this thing and they're not going to have a real plan and they're going to be behind the eight ball here. So those are my affiliate links. So I get credit for you guys signing up. So thank you for using that. Not only now for the games, but there's going to be a lot of things happening. I'll continue supporting the people that signed up to Overskill with my link. Again, this is going to be a big tool that a lot of people are going to be using. And if you guys already have an account, you have an account. I get it. But if you want the bonuses, you want the support, you want the things I'm going to be doing from now all the way for the foreseeable future, and you haven't used it yet, you might as well use a new email address, sign up with me. I promise you I'll make it worth your while. Okay. So that's what we're doing today. And I'm going to show you guys everything. Most of you guys who know me, you know I'm an open book. I will share it all with you. I want you guys to win. I want to win that 10 grand. I feel like smart me would just keep this to myself. But at the end of the day, it's like if one of you guys go win, that's pretty amazing, especially if today has anything to do with it. But if you win the 10 grand tomorrow, I want to cut, all right? You got to cut me in. Venmo works. I'll take Venmo or PayPal. Now, all jokes aside, this is fun. And I think most people come into this like, oh, I can't win that. But at the end, I'll show you what I believe they're looking for in an app and what Russell said. You can read on the about page of the event what they're doing. But, even if you don't win, you're going to leave tomorrow with a working app that you could use as a lead magnet, a bonus for your offers. Like some of our clients buy my coaching just because they want the access to the 6 months of event stack that I built. That one bonus is worth the price of admission, even if they don't come to any of the calls that we do. So like make an app that is helping them with the thing that you help them with. And that one app alone is worth the price of your offer. All right. So here's how I got started. About a year ago, I saw an 8-year-old building this app with just speaking into it. She wasn't even typing. She was speaking into, I believe it was Lovable. And she's describing what she wants to create an app on. And in real time, in like this 1 hour training, she built this app, right? It's my buddy's daughter. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know what this thing is. I didn't pay much attention to it at the time. It took me like a month or two of hearing people talk about creating their own software until I started really paying attention. Today, I want to just give you guys the right intention to know what a finished product looks like and get in and get out because it can be very time consuming and again, very expensive. I started on like $100 plan to the tool I was using. Some months was over $1,000 in credit use. So anyway, it's still cheaper than paying a developer, but I want you guys to avoid those high expensive costs. So I learned the expensive way. 1,000+ hours of vibe coding. A little over a year and a half ago, I got a quote for $30,000 deposit, not even the whole thing, to build what I ended up building by myself. Version 1 was done in a few days, but we know how that goes. We want to get better and better. So 8 months of development in my spare time. And I wrote 0 lines of code. So if you've never done this, you can do this And I want to show you guys like something simple, like what can you do in 24 hours? And you'll probably be able to do something more robust with like the prompt process I'll give you guys today. All right, so some things I've built. I built Event Stack AI. This builds webinars, free trainings, and 5-day challenge slide decks at the click of a button. There's a little more to than that. You basically do your onboarding, you give it your offer, your price, your ideal customer avatar, and some context. You click a button called Generate, and it literally writes your entire outline. Zero coding needed to build something like this. Just my frameworks, everything I've done over the last 7 years is in this tool in the knowledge base, basically like the AI brain, how I think about creating webinars and challenges. And honestly, some other stuff in that knowledge base isn't just mine, it's stuff that I've learned from my mentors. Adding your own frameworks to a software, basically what you would help somebody get out of their problem or pain that they're paying you for to solve. What would you normally do? You would teach them what? You would help them implement what? That gets to become a software. I've built a challenge app. So for my 5-day challenges, I've run 55 live challenges now. And for at least the last couple of years, I've given out a PDF workbook. So this guides them through the 5 sessions. They can write in it. They could do their action step, their daily exercise. And I realized like that's creating more work for people. People loved it, but a lot of people probably did nothing with it. Now I turned that workbook into an app. If you guys have been to my Cold to Client challenge, we just wrapped one up. We used our new app and you guys loved it. At least you tell me to my face you loved it. But what I noticed in the back end is everyone who started, almost everybody who started the challenge finished it. That's unheard of. So it really increased our completion rates. It made it fun. It gamified it. So anyway, like these are the types of things you could start thinking about. And I use that one as a bonus for when they buy a ticket to that 5-day workshop. I built KPIs. This was a problem I was running into. At the end of the day, we'd enter our numbers and, I couldn't find a real software to track all of our metrics and pull those in. So I built KPIs.ai. That was just something for my own needs that I wanted to solve. So now I can have all my metrics in one dashboard. So now I want to help you guys today come up with your own idea if you don't already have one. Step one is you got to solve a problem. And this could be something that you want for your life, or it could be business related. It's up to you. Like what are you already paying for that you could make a better version of even? You can think of something like that. But typically solve a problem, brainstorm with AI, how you can solve it. And this is the part most people skip. And I'll show you the exact steps I do before I start even talking to a tool like OverSkill to build an app. And then once you have this, you start building it. So I want to talk about how I came up with I built a lot of things, but I would say Event Stack is the core focus right now because if I were to summarize what I do, I help people run one-to-many conversion events and build systems around it to make it repeatable. Things like webinars, challenges, multiple-day virtual events. So when people would pay me for the year to work with me in my mastermind, one of the first steps we would do is sit down and write their event outline. So this was a slow process. I would give them this template, which helped them organize and save time. But you got to look at everything here, right? It would take someone a few hours just to come up with everything for their event. So this example is a 5-day challenge. So this would take a few hours and then people are getting stuck on it. So what I started doing is giving clients a one-on-one session with me when they join my coaching program. So version 2 is I would do it with them. And now this would take a little under 2 hours. So we sped that up a little bit, but we can't go build the 5-day challenge until we have the first piece, which is like, what's the outline? What's the name, the title and tagline? What are you going to be talking about each day? Once you have all that, now you can start building the slides, the promotion, the emails, all of that stuff, right? But this is step one. It would take most people that were joining weren't able to do it. So I started giving them my own time. So you can imagine I'm getting 15 to 20 clients a month. That's around 30 to 40 hours minimum every month that I'm on calls with clients. So I'm like, I got to figure this out. So I started diving into AI early days of prompting, and I would turn basically that whole process into a prompt they could copy and paste. They fill in a couple of spots and then they paste it into ChatGPT. There's the only one around back then. And this would take them maybe 10 minutes. And now that would write their whole outline way faster. Right. So that was version 3 was the prompts. But the problem was it was a mess. Like copying all these prompts to do the thing was disorganized. even trying to be as organized as I can be. Version 4, I took all of those prompts and I put them in instructions on the back end of a custom GPT. Who here's built custom GPTs with ChatGPT? Anybody? So I basically just turned all those prompts into instructions. But the problem was there was a limit of 8,000 characteristics, and some of my prompts were, way longer than that. So I couldn't just have one GPT. This GPT called the challenge strategist. They click a button, they answer a few questions, and it starts writing their entire outline. From there, it'll do their promotion. It'll create. This wasn't able to create slide decks back then, right? So like a lot of that stuff was older technology with AI. And then, like I mentioned, people wanted to do free trainings to grow their audience. They want to do webinars to sell tickets to their 5-day challenge. Some of them were running multiple day virtual events. So now, not only do I need one GPT to create the outlines for these types of events, free trainings, webinars, challenges, multiple day virtual events like 2, 3 day, 4 day, whatever, but I also needed GPTs for all four of those types of events to write promotion, to write advertisements, to write their slide outlines and their scripts. So it became this army of GPTs. Again, just a little bit more messy. It still like was very effective. It saved time, but my thought was like, how do I build a software? And this was before I knew about vibe coding. That's when I reached out to somebody I knew, and he asked for $30,000 down to lock all these up inside of a software tool, and that it would be about a year project. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I'll get back to you. So I didn't end up doing that. A few months later, I see the 8-year-old vibe coding, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think I could do this now. And that's when I started building Event Stack. I started building it back in December of 2025. So this is a lot of you guys have this tool. A lot of you guys have used this tool, but it builds your free trainings, webinars, and challenges and events in minutes. All right. The most of the time is waiting for it to generate all the outputs and then create your slide decks. So anyway, I tell you that story because I want you to think about how you can solve a problem that you're probably already solving for your customers and clients, but turn it into a software to do it way faster without your involvement, right? That's like the full-time freedom I speak of in my business. My brand name is like, how do I get people a result much faster without me having to do it for them or without having to give them all my time, right? Nothing replaces you, but most of your clients probably don't want to wait for calls. They don't want to wait. They just want to get the result. So like, what can you create and what problems can you solve? So I found the problem and started solving it. And then it became, now we have software. You guys could skip, by the way, just so if you're aware, you don't have to go create prompts, custom GPTs, because now we have vibe coding. Like just go right to solving the problem by building a software. So let me ask you a question and did you guys know, like, what takes your clients and customers the longest to get to the result? Think about that. That could be your app that you start building if it's not already. Like build something that gets them to the result faster. So 3 ways to find your app. You might want to build a better version of something. Maybe it's a tool you're already paying for. Maybe it's something that you're using in your personal life. Go build that app and find all the pros and the cons. We'll talk about deep research coming up here and what I do to find the gap in the market to solve, make a better problem. But we know better is not always the best kind of offer, right? It's hard to sell better. People get confused. How is this better? Even if you say it, how it's better, they get confused. You could create a new idea, which I don't know. These days, it's like I feel like everything is invented. You know what I mean? But maybe you do. Maybe you know a problem that nobody's solved yet. But I highlighted number 3 because this is what I believe is irreplaceable. It's your experience, your knowledge in a software, just like I did with Event Stack. I took 7 years and 55 of live events and all the webinars I've done, all the free trainings I've done, built frameworks that the software now can take how I do these things and do it for our customers. So I believe that this is probably your best idea for a software. So once you have that, now it's like maybe you don't jump right into a standalone monthly recurring software because people pay for software all the time, right? You probably have tons of subscriptions to things if you're anything like me. Maybe you start with a simple lead magnet, and I'll show you an example, but create a lead magnet. This could be something that's really simple to create. You give it away for free to grow your list. right? So I took my workbook, for example, and I'm not giving away for free. It's a bonus. I used model number two, but I could give away that app for free. It doesn't cost much to run. It didn't cost anything to really build. Maybe 50 bucks in credits most. So lead magnet to grow your list. I'll show you guys an example of this one. If I go to eventstack.ai/challenge premise, this is an example of a free lead magnet that's basically they just enter this, answer a few questions, and this will come up with their challenge title, topic, tagline, and like basically help them start the idea of building a 5-day challenge. So that'd be one example. Is it a bonus for your offer? So if you sell something, add it as a bonus. And then you have a standalone MRR. You could sell it on its own, start generating monthly revenue. You could sell it as a one-time fee. You can sell it for annual reoccurring. So this will actually build reoccurring income. I'll give you an example of another lead magnet I created. This was AI offer calculator. A problem I was getting, I was helping people with their low ticket funnels, and people were saying, Doug, how do I price my offers to increase conversions? How do I know how much traffic I need and like what are good conversions? What's a good percent for a one-time upsell and downsell and all of that? So I took my frameworks and deep research and I built this app. This one was a really quick one. So now I could send people to this and there's a button down here that it takes them right to join my 5-day challenge. So it's generating leads and customers for me. Another example is an offer bonus. So I mentioned my challenge app. This one I don't sell standalone because it wouldn't make sense to get the app without being in the 5-day training. So you buy a ticket to my 5-day challenge and you get the challenge app now. This will complete your daily action tasks from my 5-day challenge for you. So you can give this to your customers as a bonus when buying your offer, and then sell standalone. And not that I'm actually not selling Event Stack AI standalone yet. There's many of you guys here that are beta users. You guys are our founding members testing this out, helping me make it better, give me ideas. Some of you guys had a great idea. You were like, hey, Doug, we want to connect Event Stack to Marketing Secrets AI so we could pull in our brain, right? Check this out. I did this in like a half an hour yesterday. You can now connect your Marketing Secrets AI token to your brain. So now what this does is it pulls in all of your information from your Marketing Secrets AI brain to help you create your presentations with real stories, real frameworks that you have. Pretty remarkable. So like this stuff it gets to be really simple. So anyway, I'm on a tangent. Thank you guys for the idea. Now, what other ideas do you have, right? Because at some point, once I get this thing, I'm not going to be perfectionist, but in the next couple months, we're going to release this to the public. So right now it's only for my clients, but this obviously will become probably my main revenue generator for 2027. Get the word out there that we're helping people build webinars, challenges, virtual events with clicks of a button. So yeah, think about like what you can build, and maybe tomorrow you don't start building the monster. Like this is the big one. Maybe you start with a bonus you give out or a lead magnet. Start with something simple. So here's some quick lessons I learned along the way. Event Stack version 1. This is when I learned about spaghetti code. I built a user profile. So you guys, when you log in, you have your user profile. There's a public profile. And then on the back end, I have your profile that shows me things like how many events you've generated, usage, stuff that you're probably not interested in knowing anyways. But for me, I wanted them to be synced up and they weren't. So that was an example of building multiple things in multiple places that weren't synced up. So the data model docs duplicates. I've learned how to fix that. And what I'm going to show you today fixes that, prevents that from happening. Then we have the $1,000 plus months of credit spend. So improvising inside the builder blew past my credit limit. I didn't realize like every time you're talking to this thing, right? You'd say, Doug, go figure. Yeah, duh. The more you talk to it, the more you're paying in credits. So now I want to help you like give it everything it needs in a series of prompts the right way, because if you do one long prompt, it's gonna, again, it's not gonna be able to take all that information in, and you're gonna break it, and it's gonna spend more time fixing it, more time and more credits. And then you have the rabbit hole, shiny new ideas mid-build wrecks my scope and budget more than once. And I tell you, when you start building these types of tools, and if you guys are doing that, how many ideas have you guys come up with in the middle of your build? You're like, oh, I should add this. Well, if you did the planning in the beginning, and as you're building it, it knows the full scope of what this big picture is, it's going to be a lot easier, and you're going to reduce the amount of errors and bugs and things that you have to fix later that cost a lot of time and money. So here's the three traps. I'll say number zero is just going. This is what everyone's going to do tomorrow that's not in this room. They're just going to go say, I want to create an app that does this, right? And they're going to start typing, and it's going to be a slow, long 24 hours, and they're going to max out their tokens, and they're going to have to keep re-upping their tokens and buy more credits. Then the next one's like, well, let me create one long prompt, and you paste the whole thing in, but this it overwhelms the builder, and it starts guessing, and there's assumptions, and yeah, it's just going to get messy. Then you have, well, if it's a long prompt, let me divide this prompt into five different prompts, and I'll send them one by one. Well, you're getting closer, but if you don't have like the big picture and doesn't understand the full scope, you're going to run into that spaghetti code, right? Glitchy, it becomes frustrating and expensive. And then the no plan trap. This is the one I was talking about earlier, just talking to it. So we're going to avoid these three traps. So I'll show you how the app builder should never think. It should only execute based on what you're giving it. So all the thinking happens before you open the builder in the planning phase. So what I'm really saying is use ChatGPT or Claude or whatever tool you're using. Some of you guys use Manus to design it, to come up with it. And I'll show you guys exactly what that looks like. And for those of you guys who know this stuff, like, what tool are you using to plan out your app builds right now? And if you're not building apps, like, what are you currently using more? Are you using ChatGPT or are you using Claude? Let me know in the comments. Or is it something different? Man, maybe it's Marketing Secrets AI. But the reality is Marketing Secrets AI, you're using one of these tools inside of there. Okay. All right. So the five phases of how you plan out your app. Number one, don't skip this one. We've got dig, draw, fill, pour, polish. So digging is doing the deep research. And then you're going to draw the foundation plans. And then you're going to fill the jar. I talked about the jar method. Jar method is step three, but it's like literally the model. It's the method that has helped me the most. And then do it one prompt at a time in order. And I'll show you how you arrive at these prompts. And then the project management loop. You want to polish these things off, make it a viable solution that you can sell. Even if you're giving away for free, you want to make sure it's good, right? Especially if it's people that are finding you for the first time and they're using this thing. You don't want your lead magnet or your bonus or the thing you're selling to be broken. So, yeah, I'll show you guys this process. So plan where it's cheap, which is ChatGPT or Claude or something that you're using. Build where it's fast, which we're going to be using OverSkill. Now, here's the cool part. You don't have to know anything, because what I'm trying to say, like coding wise, because when OverSkill comes back to you, it's going to do a step and it's going to give you a bunch of words. You could probably figure it out. But for me, I'm like, I don't know what the heck this thing is saying. I was just mediating between the two. So I would literally go back and forth between Claude, my chat with Claude, and then my chat with, we'll call OverSkill. And I would just, okay, OverSkill said this. It just finished that prompt. Here's what it said. What do I do now? And then it processes it. Claude will say, all right, now go give it this. Tell it to do this. And I'm just copying and paste back and forth between the two of them. So they're like building it for me. I'm just managing the flow of that, right? So like, basically, when you have AI like ChatGPT or Claude helping you build the app, you've got a PM, you've got a project manager that just knows the entire scope of the project. All right, I'll show you guys how that works. So step one, before we even get into these five pillars, is build your project. So if you're using Claude or ChatGPT, they're both very similar as far as setting up a project. On your left bar, hit new project, you can name it. And what you're going to do is add the source files. I'll show you like the deep research and your foundational documents that Claude will create. You create those first, you save them to your folder. So, for example, I would do deep research on, I want to create Airbnb. I want to do deep research, find out all the bad reviews about this app, all the good reviews. I want you to look at all the competitors, find the good, find the bad, and focus on the bad because I want to fill the gap in the market. I want to find something that is missing and create that. And now it builds out the deep research. It builds out your foundational documents, which are basically like the overall plan. I'll show you what those three look like right in a minute. Then it creates the prompts once it has the big picture of what you're building. So if I'm losing you, just know, create a project, give it a name, name of your app here, and then you're going to start saving the deep research files here. So step one is dig, deep research before anything. So you create your project. This becomes the permanent brain of the build. It's your project manager over on Claude or ChatGPT. Every document lives in the source files. You just add to the source files by clicking the plus sign. And then AI is going to write your research prompt. I run that deep research and I save those files. I put them inside of the file sources. Okay. So this is important. Like tomorrow, I won't tell you guys exactly what I'm building, but I did deep research on all the competitors and I said, search these bad reviews. Like, what are they overwhelmed by with these apps? What is missing? What do they want? You know, like, what do they like most? I want to find an app that solves the problems of the market. Right. So this is, I'll give you guys basically the context. So I asked the first chat, I'd name it number one, ideation and deep research. So if you have a Claude project, you have different chats going on. I label them with numbers. So my first one is ideation and deep research. I want to create my own app with you helping me come up with the entire project idea. But first, can you write the prompt I can give to ChatGPT to do deep research for us? Once you give me the prompt, I will give it to ChatGPT. I will bring its findings back here and you could put it in the context files, right? So now it writes that prompt. It took about like 20 minutes to do deep research. I saved those files, went back to the project, and I added them here in the file source, right? Just put make sense if you guys are following so far. Pretty simple stuff, right? If you've never done this before, just come back to this and you could watch it. All right, now once you have your deep research file saved to your ChatGPT or Claude project, now we got to write the foundation document. So first one is the data. So everything in your app and how they relate, right? Golden rules, use one record profile everywhere. So you basically come up with rules that get rid of the bugs. Design language. Now we're going to come up with the design, the vibe, right? So like this is all branding, your foundation document for branding, and then the build map. The build map is I'll explain it here in a minute. It's called the jar method, and it's going to give you. It won't know every prompt yet because that kind of is a thing that goes as it goes, but it will have an overall map of like, okay, we're going to probably have around 30 prompts for this one. Prompt one is this, prompt two is this, prompt three. So it's going to build this map of what the prompts might be. And the reason I ask for this document is because, and I basically said something like, hey, like you said, this is going to take 30 prompts to give to OverSkill. I don't want to start building this and you forget what these 30 things are. Build a file I could put in the source, the context database inside the project. So we could always remember at least like how many prompts we have and approximately what these prompts do. Right. So like imagine like tomorrow I start building out prompts. I copy and paste the first 10 and I go back to my Claude project. I'm like, hey, we just finished prompt 10 and what's prompt 11? It might just start making things up because we've had so much conversation. It could do that. So instead I would say, all right, refer back to your build map in the source files and make sure that we're building these exact flows. And things could, pivot and change based on how you're building your app, but this is a good file to save in your source file. So you have the data model, like what are all the, like, what is this? What are the rules? Then you have the design and then you have the prompt map to build it. Okay. All right. Step three is fill. I want you guys to pay attention. This is like simple, but so important. The way I came up with the jar method, have you guys heard of the best way to fill a jar? With like, if you're adding, for example, you want a well-balanced jar sealed to the brim. You start by adding the big rocks first. And then you add the pebbles, then you add the gravel, then you pour in the sand, and then you fill it with water, and then you seal it up. So the idea of this is like if I'm going to give all these prompts to OverSkill, I want it to understand in prompt zero, or even like the first few prompts we give it, the big scope of the project. I want to know like we're going to go do all of this stuff. So you need to know that that's coming and make room for like I'm not gonna get technical on you guys, but there's edge functions, there's all this stuff. So I want to make sure it has the infrastructure to support what we're building. So those first few prompts that it designs for you with this model, with this method, it's going to know to build the rocks first. So that first prompt you give to Overskill is going to know everything, all the big rocks. Okay. So, yeah, here we go. We have the jar. This is the infrastructure. This is the database. Like again, you guys don't need to know any of this, but just kind of keep in mind that analogy. It will help. Like if we're gonna have this jar, we have to have it's the software. It's the tool you're building. The rocks are the core features. It can't exist without. All like all like the little fun things come down here. These are it cannot function without these, right? For my app build, like daily sessions, those were core rocks of my challenge app build. The dashboard was a core rock. And then the next prompts it's going to write are the pebbles, important features that attach to the rocks, right? The contest, the leaderboard. So this is the app I built for our challenge. Gravel, supporting features like admin tools, Q&A, gating. Then you have sand. These are like the refinement, brands, colors, logo, copy. These things don't make or break the software. And then you have water, final flow through, like security, exporting, so you guys could copy your answers really quickly, those kind of things. So this stuff up here is the most important. And the reason we come up with this analogy is so when you're writing your prompts and in your project, you could just refer to this training and say, the jar method, start with the rocks, pebbles, just explain this analogy. Or maybe I'll get you guys a copy of the transcript so you guys just paste it in and we'll know what to do. But anyway, that's what happened. I built my challenge app and it ended up being 15 prompts, 55 Google page document. And what I would do is go to Overskill and paste in the first prompt. Once that's done, I paste in prompt two, prompt three, right? All the way through 15. And it sounds like a lot, but it builds pretty quickly. And the challenge app, if I had to redesign it, having all this now, it'd probably take me, I'd say 2 hours. 2 hours, I would have that entire app finished, just copying and pasting prompts. So think about this. Tomorrow, if you have a 24-hour runway for this contest for the OverSkill Games, most people don't know this stuff. They're going to be burning the midnight oil. You could be done in a few hours. You probably still will end up, it's fun. So you'll probably end up going back and polishing things. All right. So the prompt zero. So prompt zero tells the builder more prompts are coming. It's like, here's the infrastructure. Here's the jar we're building. Here's the big rocks. Here's the pebbles. Here's the gravel. Here's the sand. Here's the water. It's obviously not going to go into detail like the prompts will, but it knows what's coming. So it all fits together and it doesn't, it will reduce that broken code, spaghetti code stuff that takes forever to try to figure out why won't this work? So that eliminates that. All right. So it will know, for example, if 7 more prompts are on the way, it builds foundations instead of the shortcuts. All right. So for example, the master context block, right? Um, app 5-day challenge, data model, golden rules apply, design language. So basically what it's doing is it'll give you a context block and I paste that with every prompt. So I always have the one prompt that just gives like the rules. It's like, all right, now we're working on prompt 3 of 9 pebbles, so like it'll understand what that means. So I paste the context block at the top of each of the, let's call it, if I'm built tomorrow building an app that takes 9 prompts, I'll do that little context block and I'll send the next prompt that it's building. All right, that's going to keep it in flow. And then you have pour, one prompt at a time in order. This makes sense, right? You're basically like, all right, now we're going to start building this. So now you're going to take these prompts and just go one at a time. Open a brand new project in the builder. So like we go to Overskill, right? So we're starting here. You're going to send prompt 0. Overskill is now going to understand everything it needs to know to stay on course. Once it comes back, you're going to send prompt one. And what you can do, what I like to do is take screenshots of whatever it's built so far. And I'll go back to my Claude project and I'll paste screenshots in a chat and say, here's what it built. Does this look like we're on pace? It's like, cool. Yep. Paste this back into um, OverSkill and send prompt number two, just like that. And I just follow that. And anything I get stuck on or anything that doesn't work, I paste it back to Claude and like, hey, this is happening. What should I say to Overskill? Because if you do that, obviously you could just talk to Overskill, but it's going to burn through your credits like crazy. You guys understand the relationship between this and going back to Claude and talking to Claude? Hey, Claude, what should I say to Overskill? Boom, say this. Okay. So this is just doing the execution. It's not doing the thinking and design stuff. Okay. Yeah, and the challenge app, I built it without even hitting the credit limit. So it was like under $50 to build just my challenge app, for example. Compared to that stack, it was 1,000+ months in credits. It was an expensive software, not nearly as close to the $30,000 I was quoted as a deposit, but I got all the mistakes out of the way building some of these things, and now I could move faster and avoid spending all that money and that time. And then the polish is pretty much what it sounds like. The PM loop I talked about is project management loop. It's you going back and forth with your project in Claude or ChatGPT, and then giving that to Overskill. So, and by the way, you guys, if this doesn't make sense to some of you, just know that like if you set up a project in Claude or ChatGPT and you give it just some of the context of what we're talking about today, and just having that one tool as like a guardrail for you, just like, hey, you're gonna help me build an app. Cool. Like now you could go back and forth. Just having that one tip today, I think will help you tremendously. Because a lot of people, again, wouldn't do that. They would just start building in here and wasting all their credits. So if you even just leave here with that, I think that will help you. So now what I mean by this is your AI project manager is Claude or ChatGPT. So you build the output. So for example, like I'll take Overskill came back with this. I'll take a screenshot. I'll give it to Claude and say, hey, what's going on here? And then it will tell you what to paste back. So you can screenshot a bug, paste it into Claude or ChatGPT, whatever project you're using, and get the exact fix prompt, and then paste that back into Lovable. I'm sorry, or Overskill. So this is what it would look like if you guys need a visual. So yeah, all right, I'm building my app. I just got prompts back. Overskill said this. I'll screenshot. I'll paste it over to Claude and say, what should I do? And then it will tell you, say this. So I send it back here. So a lot of my building apps is just me going back and forth, copy, paste, boom. All right, it says to do this, paste it back. So I'm literally just a mediator. And that's really it. Think where it's cheap. So plan it with ChatGPT or Claude, and then build where it's fast, which is Overskill. Let AI do the building. You're just mediating the two conversations. Any questions on that? Is that all making sense? Everybody good? Cool. Um, so just a recap, I would start with creating a project tonight. I would go come up with your app idea. Hopefully I gave you guys some ideas. If you had an idea, go like just come to you today, drop it in the pin post. What idea came through to you today to build an app on? Right. Oh yeah, I do have a problem. I have frameworks. I can put that into an app and build it. So like what I would do tonight, well, I'll just give you guys what I'm doing for tomorrow. So I'm ready to go. I did my deep research. I built my Claude project. I put all my deep research files in there. We built our three foundations, right? What the project is. Number two is the design and like the vibes and the colors. Is it my branding kit? And then number three, it says tomorrow's build. I have 30 prompts, approximately 25 to 30 prompts, it says. I'm not writing the prompts yet. All I have is that prompt map. So I know what I'm building. I know the design. I pretty much know the scope of the 25 to 30 prompts. I'm going to be copying and pasting one by one into Overskill tomorrow. Don't start Overskill tonight. I think like officially for the contest, I could be wrong, but it has to be an app that you just started tomorrow. So if you already started, start a new one tomorrow because they're probably going to go and look like, oh, John's been building this app for a month. That doesn't count, you know? So it has to be an app you start tomorrow. All right. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing tonight, just getting that all ready. And tomorrow I'll paste in prompt zero. And then I'll copy and paste what it says, what Overskill says. I'll put it into Claude, say, are we good to move to prompt number one? It's like, yes or no. It'll give you an answer. It's like, okay, yep, go paste prompt number one. And that's what I'll pretty much do. My whole day tomorrow is just copying and pasting the prompts one by one that it's writing in real time. So, one thing that could help you too is create a Google document. Um, Let me see if I have an example. I can't show you guys. You'll give my away my idea. Basically, I have an outline ready. So I know it's gonna be about 30 prompts. So I create a Google document with just tabs on it saying prompt zero, prompt one, prompt two, prompt three, all the way through 30. Um, all I have right now is prompt zero. So you could go ahead and write all of your prompts, but the problem is things might change based on what Claude is seeing from Overskill. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna paste prompt zero into OverSkill. And then I'm gonna take screenshots, give it back to Claude and say, does this look good? And it's like, it looks good. Let's write prompt one. We'll write prompt one. I'll save it on my Google document just so I'm documenting all the prompts, just to have it safe. That's you don't need that part. And then I'll paste that in and we'll say, all right, here's the results from prompt one. Here's screenshots. Are we ready for prompt two? And say, yep, we're good. And we'll write prompt two. And why it's doing it that way is if there's any issues or anything that the Overskill did wrong, it'll correct that as we go through the prompts, writing them and pasting them in. Okay. All right. So that's it. If you guys haven't signed up, scroll up to the pinned post, click around this video, wherever it is. If you guys are live on Zoom right now with me, I'd imagine you guys have already signed up. Sign up with my link, and I got some bonuses for you guys, not only now, but as we continue to build with Overskill. This is going to be a massive tool for the industry. I'm going to support you guys in everything I'm doing. My goal is to turn I want to create a ton of stuff, but I will be creating lead magnets. I think Event Stack is my core product. I think that's a seven-figure business software by itself. But yeah, sign up for Overskill Games number one. Claim your spot. It's free to sign up. You will need an Overskill account. So I gave you guys the link to sign up to Overskill. I think it's as low as $25 per month. You could probably build an app for that. Most of you will end up buying more credits, right? I was asking John today. He's like, he built an app with 5,000 credits. So like you get a certain amount of credits on the $25 per month plan. You could just buy more credits as well on the inside. I haven't seen what that looks like, but you'll probably end up wanting to buy some more if you want to keep building your app. But remember, this app is either going to get you more leads and customers, or you're gonna sell it. So run this system tomorrow in the Overskill games. We got 24 hours. It starts at noon Eastern time tomorrow. It's 9 a.m. Pacific time where I am. So I'll see you guys at 9 a.m. on this. It's free to enter the games, but you will need an Overskill account. That's the tool that I keep showing you guys that you're going to build with. You're going to paste your prompts into here. All right. I think that's really it. Remember, you can pull an all-nighter with Russell and Todd. It's probably going to be fun. Tomorrow, we start tomorrow at noon Eastern, and then they're going to go 24 hours until the cutoff. By the end of 24 hours, there's going to be a way for people to vote on your app, apparently. I don't know what this looks like exactly, but they're not choosing. They're choosing based on what gets the most upvotes. So they'll tell us how that all works. And then somebody's going to win $10,000 cash prize, right? All-nighter for you is optional. Like I said, if you guys go through this process, I don't think you're going to need to do that. You guys will be done with your app. And you guys could, and if you're not, you want to do an all-nighter, think about how much more you can build versus most people tomorrow, knowing what you know today. I feel like it's like, for me, at least, it was an 8-month shortcut that I've learned. It took me 8 months to learn some of this stuff. So if you guys sign up right now at my link, overskillgames.com/, don't worry about remembering this, just click on the link around this video, sign up to Overskill Games, use my link, comment games right now inside of the pinned post. If you have used my link, right? If you haven't, and you haven't really got far with it because it hasn't started, maybe you have a second email address, but sign up with the game, sign up for Overskill, and now you'll be listed as one of my affiliates. And of course, you guys know me, like, if I'm benefiting from you investing in something, I want to help you with that thing so you stick with it longer. That's a win-win situation, right? So what I'll do is I'm going to send you guys this training replay. You could go back and watch it, but I feel like what I'm missing today that you guys really probably need is like, okay, Doug, I get the big picture of deep research. I know how to do that, but what's the prompt to give to my project to write this series of prompts? I just didn't have time, or I'm trying to think of how I can do this, but I have a template I can give you guys. So I'll reach out to you with the replay. I'll also give you the prompt that I would send to ChatGPT or Claude once you have all your deep research files and your foundation files created. Um, in fact, you'll probably want prompts. I'll give you guys the whole thing. So prompt to do the research, prompt to create foundation document one, prompt to create your foundation document number two, which is your branding, prompt three to create the scope, the map of your build, and then the prompt to create all the prompts. So it'll tell you how many you need. So I'll give you guys the replay to this plus my own personal prompt templates that will allow you to start thinking about this. And I would do it tonight. I would build a project. At the very least, I would do your deep research, get those files saved in the project, and then start coming up with your three foundation documents, have those saved to the project, and then build out prompt zero and prompt one. And then tomorrow, you'll go back and forth. All right, prompt zero and one are written, Claude. Are we ready for prompt two? Let's do it. All right. So then you just kind of build them one by one. And like I said, you can go write all the prompts. Let's say most of you guys will probably have 5 to 10 prompts for your app build. Um, you could write them all immediately, but what's going to happen is there's going to probably be things that happen when it's building each prompt that you'll want corrected in real time. You have to go back and do it. So if you follow what I'm doing, you'll have less edits to go back and create and waste tokens, credits. Cool. I'll send you guys the JAR method playbook. That's just kind of a summary of what we shared today. I think the transcript can help you guys from today's training because, like, in reality, without my prompts, you could just give the project my transcript and it will already understand what I just taught you. And it will actually know exactly what three foundation prompts look like. It'll know exactly how to write your prompts, all of that. So that's probably the easiest shortcut. I think the transcript to this is probably the best play. So on top of that, obviously we'll be live with Russell. I don't know if some of you guys, I won't be there for 24 hours straight, but I will be putting a pin post in our community starting at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern time tomorrow. So you guys and all of us can help each other separate, like a little side group, because I'm sure Russell will have a chat, but they won't know that somebody in our chat is going to win this thing. And honestly, I hope it's one of you guys. So let's help each other out. We'll have a pin post tomorrow to support one another. So yeah, grab your free spot. You guys already prior signed up at this point. If you aren't, go to the Zoom chat though and just save those two links, even if you can't do it right now. Click on both links, save them in your browser, or you could just come back to the pin post later on and click on these two to sign up. So sign up to the games, sign up to your software, and yeah, we're gonna rock and roll. It's gonna be pretty awesome. I will see you guys at the games. One more side note. Let me come back to you guys too. I probably should have started with this. Um, I want you guys to know, like, you guys are like, Doug, man, you just did a challenge. You teach us this cold to client method, right? So we're building out the community, your webinar, and your challenge to get your offer selling around the clock for you, right? That's my core framework. Now, why would I be promoting something literally 3 days later? Well, it's not new. What we're doing tomorrow is helping you guys implement my model by creating a more valuable offer. So like some people, I think you guys get it, but some people are like, Dog, man, you just keep promoting stuff. Well, you should too. If I have a tool that helps people implement my frameworks, yeah, of course I'm gonna share it with you guys. And I'll never promote something I'm not personally doing. So I'll be at the games. I've got Marketing Secrets AI. I've got my OverSkill account. I'm ready to rock and roll. And if you think about like overall what I help people with, it's offer refinement, making your offers more valuable so you could charge more and work less. By you adding an AI element to your offer, it allows you to charge more, get them faster results, and you get to work less. You get to remove yourself. Remember, by building Event Stack, I removed 40 hours of coaching calls a month, right? 2 hour sessions with clients 20 times a month. That's a lot of time that now I just say, hey, here's the tool. If you have any questions, talk to AI Doug chat or come to our sessions, and the tool replaced that. And now their outline doesn't take a couple hours. One button builds their entire outline. Then they're like, hey, I got to build out my emails. Boom, clicks a button, all their emails are written. One tool did that, you guys. So again, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the pin post. Looking forward to seeing what apps you guys create. Start with something simple if you've never done it before. And good luck in the prize. And again, AC says 10% if you win the prize. Okay. All right, everybody. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day and keep an eye out for the replay. Talk to y'all soon. Bye, everybody.